Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, we know organ transplants can save lives, and we know that there aren't enough organ donors out there. The government wants to change that by rewriting the rules so that we'll all be considered as potential donors unless we opt out. It's called presumed consent. The number of donors is rising, but not fast enough to meet the need. 10 years ago, there were just under 800 donors. This year, that figure has risen to over 1,400. But there are still 6,500 people currently waiting for a transplant in the UK. Our health correspondent Dominic Hughes has met one patient who knows just how vital an increase in donors is.
Hanging the tubes up here.
Keeping going, but going nowhere.
Very honestly, I don't have a life. That is what I do at the moment. It's like 24 hours a day. So that's one.
This is how Odette stays alive.
2.
While she waits for a pancreas and kidney transplant. Every night, hooked up to a dialysis machine.
5.
Nearly 2 litres of fluid repeatedly pumped in and out of her body.
There's days that it actually feels as if I've swallowed a demon. And obviously on those days I just can't sleep. Double over sometimes in pain. Goodbye.
Odette is marking time. On 4 occasions she's been called to hospital for a transplant. Each time the organ wasn't suitable.
The emptiness is just very, 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 very big. Just like, there's nothing that anybody can do about it. I understand that. And there is nobody to blame, basically. So it's just like, what do you do?
She's one of 6,500 people waiting for a transplant of one kind or another. Around 450 of them die each year. Transplant teams know they need more organs, so the government in England wants to assume we are all willing to donate, an approach already adopted in Wales 2 years ago, with Scotland also planning to follow suit. But already the way teams identify donors and how they approach grieving families has been transformed. That's seen the number of operations increase by more than 50%. The story of transplants in the UK over the past decade has been one of success. More people are having operations and more people are willing to donate their organs. But there are those who worry that if we move to a system of presumed consent, well, that could actually do more harm than good.
It's a quick fix for politicians. You pass a law, automatically everyone is presumed to be a donor and you've got more organs. But in real life, it doesn't happen that way. A lot of people who would potentially become organ donors object to it so strongly that they join the opt-out register.
So far in Wales, more than 200,000 people, 6% of the population, have chosen to opt out of organ donation. But after their own death, a donor offers a stranger a new life. And just over a fortnight ago in Manchester, that stranger was Odette.
After being so sick for such a long time, and to wake up and you're okay, and that's all gone, just like magically disappeared.
I can see it in you from the last time we spoke. You seem very different in yourself.
I feel different. I feel totally different, extremely grateful. Actually feeling as if you're alive was just overwhelming.
Odette Dessar ending that report by Dominic Hughes.
Back here again now, and too many of us, it seems, are still not prepared to donate our organs for transplant after we've died. Not enough of us talk about it with our families, and obviously, if you are waiting for a transplant, that is a basic life and death question. So today, the government tried to kick-start a national conversation over its plans to make people in England opt out if they don't want to donate, rather than opt in if they do. If you See what I mean? Now, it is not just England looking at proposals like this. In Scotland, the government wants to introduce a similar scheme before 2021, while in Northern Ireland there are proposals to revive a plan for an opt-out scheme that failed to gain enough support at Stormont last year. In Wales, 2 years into an opt-out scheme, the number of donors has yet to rise dramatically, it's true, but there has been an increase in families giving approval. In 2014, it was only given in 44% of cases, but this year it rose to over 64%.
You want to lay down in bed?
Natasha Tiwari is diabetic and blind. 3 years ago, she had a pancreas and kidney transplant, but the kidney failed and she needs another one. Nearly 5 years on, and she's still waiting for a donor. The problem simply, she says, is that not enough of us register for organ donation.
There's a lot of people that turn around and say, yeah, I forgot I need to do a donor card. And then there's people that they just don't really care whether they're on the donor list or not.
Do you think that absent-mindedness or that lethargy in people could cost you your life?
Yes.
In the UK, almost 6,500 patients are on the transplant waiting list. Nearly a third, more than 1,800, are from Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities. Of all of those on the list, 3 die every day waiting for an organ. It's why the government's launching a consultation for an opt-out donor system in England where everyone is presumed to be willing to donate. But with little proof it does help increase the number of donors, the proposal has its critics.
The evidence from Wales is that over the last 2 years an opt-out system has not increased the donation rates. And before we kind of change the basis, which is around consent and altruism and trust, on which we use donation in England, we think it's really important to look at the evidence and get public opinion on side as well.
Achieving that could give hundreds of others the chances Joanne Adams had. After major surgery, she needed 6 new organs, each one donated. And she wants everyone to know what this means.
It's amazing to know that you've gave a precious gift to somebody. The words can't even describe how you feel.
We'll have to wait until March to find out what the government decides. No doubt for the thousands on a waiting list, a change in the law can't happen soon enough. Emily Morgan, News at 10.